Thank you very much. European People's Party, Christian Democrats are in the main part of founding fathers and mothers, of course, of this very European Union, and also defending and holding up over decades the principle of subsidiarity. The principle of subsidiarity includes that things have to be dealt with on the level that's the proper level for it. That means there are many issues such as security, such as economy, which have to be dealt with on European level. This is why a stronger Europe, as I always claim to the outside, will be important and will be an important outcome of such a treaty reform. And a Europe with more freedom to the inside will be important for education, for the workforce, for entrepreneurship, for our social welfare systems, of course, by that way, and for what's one of the claims of the new European Commission, for our competitiveness. So also here, an EU reform, and this is what people call it, and this is what I call it as a people's representative, an EU reform, technically speaking, a treaty reform, will have to cover these principles in order to support the Europe with more strength to the outside and more freedom to the inside. And now a very important point comes. We all have addressed it in different manners. Sandro Guzzi has just said it, we have to build bridges. We already showed that it's possible to build bridges among the today represented political groups here in order to draft a paper with our own commitment. As I said, in the first place, we don't demand something from others. In the first place, we commit ourselves to what we will do and we will contribute to, namely an EU reform, a EU treaty reform, in the best case by 2027. And that means that we have to build bridges as well with other political groups, which might be not yet represented in the Spinelli Group board, namely also not represented in this Project 27, but political groups which are contributing very positively to European integration and which will be needed to fulfill a new treaty reform. Secondly, we also have to reach out our hand, as I have just said, to the member states' governments, not to some, but to all. Not to some of the 27 member states, but to all of the 27 member states. Then we walk and go forward in the spirit of the founding fathers and mothers of this very European Union, of integration, not of polarization. I want to emphasize that, of integration, not of polarization. We will, as the Spinelli Group, I guess I can say that on behalf of everybody, we will not contribute to any kind of separation, division, polarization or disintegration. We want to contribute to integration and in that sense to the future of the European Union, which has a great history and a good presence. But as President Macron once has said, Europe could also die. And this is something we will not allow to happen. We want an EU treaty reform, and since you regard it to the largest group in the European Parliament, the largest party of Europe, the party with the largest number of prime ministers, the largest number of commissioners, of course, that's not only the central party, it's also the broadest party. So, of course, I speak on behalf of the Spinelli Group board, on behalf of myself as Spinelli Group president for the time being in the rotation principle. I speak on behalf of myself as a parliamentarian in the European Parliament, and when we talk about bridge building and reaching out the hand, we also talk among our groups, because in all our groups are different opinions and positions appearing, and bridge building begins in the very own family. And this is, in our cases, the various political groups, and there it's the place where we start bridge building, as this press conference today would also be a starting point.